when the beat hit, it's queenish. Friday nights be gleaming. We stay hype with guys like no matter what, cause we queenin'. Hey, we queenin'. We queenin'. When them other chicks be scheming, we stay hype cause we queenin'.
When the queens and the feeling, throw them hands up. Got a crown on my head, no we can be touched.
What up, what up, what up? This is your homegirl, DJ Missy E. And we are back for another Night Hype show. This one is, once again, another rewind. Going back to first season, episode 4, we got to sit down with Miss E.B. as we discuss her intimacy issues, or in all. Very interesting episode and one of our first serious conversations about women who suffer with vaginismus. Huge shout out to Miss E.B., Miss Ebony. we really appreciate you for coming on the show and talking about your truths and bringing this condition to the forefront, because her bravery in discussing this topic will definitely give you a blessing today. All right, without further ado, intimacy issues or no, Night Hype Show, rewind. What up, what up, what up?
What's up, Kansas City? It's your hype homegirl, #swag.
And DJ Missy E.
And we're here for for Night Hype.
We're so used to saying Friday, y'all.
Man, look, but this any night of the week, we gonna get hype with y'all. So we even have a special guest.
We do.
Tonight's show is gonna be called Intimate Issues or No.
Or no.
So what's the intimate issues would you consider? Do you, as a married woman, DJ Missy, do you have any intimate issues?
I would say that there have been times where we had intimate issues. Yes, there has been times. I think that any relationship, you're going to have some type of intimacy issues. I believe that, especially in the beginning of your relationship, you know what I'm saying? If you're with somebody that already knows how they like things to be done, or how they like the way things feel on them, or how they want you to touch them, you know, you're going to have to do some practice. Because you might not know what you're doing with that person. You might know what the last person like, but you might not know what they like.
I like that you say that, because the crazy thing about it is, one thing about me, back in the day, I used to thought it out. I ain't gonna lie.
Thought it out?
I did, because it was just so easy to do it, because, you know, your hormones are raging, and you think that this is all there is to life. But now, the older that I get, I recognize if I don't have, like, a connection with you, chemistry, if we're not actually dating, or it's very hard for me to want to even kiss you.
Well, have you ever had a situation where you just cannot do anything like that with that person?
Nope.
Okay. All right. Well, we have a person here that is able to tell us her story and what many women go through that I don't know of.
Do you think this person? Many women?
Many women, maybe, but not us. But it's still a very interesting topic, and I'm quite sure there probably are people that just don't know what it is, but it has experienced that or is experiencing that, and we just want to bring it out to the forefront. Introducing here a good friend of ours to the show. I've been knowing this girl since, I don't know, high school, right? Freshman year, yeah. She knows, she remembers the first day that we met, which was like super bootsy. But I'm sure she'll tell you the story. Welcome to the mic, Ebony.
Hey! What's up, y'all? How y'all doing?
What up?
Good.
Glad to be here. Yes, me and Erica go way back, and India's been my sis since 2012. We met at work.
Was that 12?
Back in the day, it was 2000, or maybe 2009.
9.
Okay, I was gonna say it was a couple
till 2012. By then, that's when I was leaving the place, right?
Yeah. So it's been a minute.
But this the crazy thing, and I never thought that anybody would have this problem. But you have a hard time being intimate. Like,
yes.
Is it a feeling thing? What does that mean? To tell our listeners, is there a term for it?
There is a term for it, and it took me a long time to get to the point of even educating myself to know what this was. The actual term for it is called vaginismus. So
that sounds serious.
It's very serious.
Vaginismus.
So basically what it means is the vaginal, your vagina is a muscle. Not to sound like an educator, but basically it is educating. Like I said, I had to educate myself. Like upon penetration, it basically closes itself off. It goes into attack mode as far as like feeling like maybe, it's a threat. And it just closes itself off and does not allow any sort of penetration.
What?
At all.
Lord.
Yeah. And the more I got to like study and learn about exactly what causes it, it's not necessarily just a physical part. It's other aspects that go into it. It's mental, emotional, which that only makes sense. I knew that prior to being told or reading about it.
Right, you can understand.
It's just something, that's in you. Like it's innate. You know that you have an issue with being intimate and getting that close.
Right.
So I knew there was something prior to being married, but I never knew that I would have this sort of issue where I literally would not be able to,
ever be intimate.
Yeah, like ever be that sort of intimate with my husband.
The girl, right? So, shoot.
Yeah.
So go to the beginning. When did you realize
like this is a serious problem?
It was a minute, only because I was waiting until marriage.
Okay. That's
so
good.
You were
all during dating, yes.
I remember
Cuz knows. Like it was serious. First of all, I was never even like going back to even what you said, sis, when you were saying that, now as you've gotten older, it takes a lot for you to be, attracted to somebody sexually. It's always been that way for me.
you. Okay.
Yeah, always. You know what I mean? Like even with like celebrity crushes or whatever. I remember as a little girl, people being like, he is so fine.
And B2K bump.
I would be more so like, okay, he's fine and I like him because his personality is such and such. Or I feel this connection to that person, and then I would have like a sexual desire for them. But just off the top, like he's fine, I never had that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And it's continued. Like that's just been a part of how it was for me.
And I'm just too dreamy.
But
like, I just love black men.
I do too. But it takes a lot, you know what I mean, for me to feel that connection, for it to be on a sexual level. So it's just always been that way. So back to answering her question, I never knew it was an issue because I was waiting until marriage. So even the time that me and my husband dated, it was 2.5 years of not having sex. And, I didn't have sex. That's a whole other story. We had a couple issues during the dating period.
That's another night show.
That's a different topic. But us not having sex together, like it was just not something I thought of. So once we got married, I would say it was maybe like going into the second year before I classified it as a problem. Only because I was like, okay, sometimes it takes time.
Because this your
let's
first
chill,
time,
let's relax,
get to know each other.
It was a minute.
Get the move right.
Yeah, I was just like, it's just not happening. I mean, me and Cuz used to joke about this so often. Like, she would be like, you still ain't getting none? And I'm like, no, like it's not going down. It just wasn't happening, but I wasn't stressing it.
Night married, it's cracking.
Yeah.
Cracking.
And I think I did call her the next day, like,
did it go down?
Did it go down?
She wasn't the only call because everybody knew that we were waiting until marriage. So a lot of people were like, I know y'all were happy. And we were like, no, that didn't go down.
Wow, man. So I can understand looking at it from a man's point of view, the stepping out or to feeling like I got to get it from somewhere or something. How did you personally deal with that situation, knowing that it's like a woman that can't have kids, you know what I'm saying? She want to do it so bad, but she can't. And so then he goes out and he has babies by other people or something of that nature, but still wants you.
Right.
How did you deal with that?
Basically, if you mean prior to the marriage, it was kind of a different thing. So that happened one time during this time. Well, one time that we discussed and that I know about. If he wants to share some more information, I can come back and give an update later. But
so silly.
When we were dating, that happened one time where he stepped out, and the way he handled it was, it put me in a mindset of being compassionate, I know that sounds crazy. Being compassionate to a man who claims to love you, but yet stepped outside to cheat on you.
Yeah.
But the way he set it up was, prior to him doing that, you know, it was like, well, we were broke up, which technically we were, but come on. Right. It wasn't over.
We knew it was coming back.
Yeah, and the whole cause of the breakup was because he wanted to go do what he wanted to do and then come back. You know what I mean? So that kind of set a precedent, actually, with that type of pattern in our relationship. So he did that the one time while we were dating. And of course, I was crushed. I was hurt. I was devastated. I mean, the only thing that I could, you know, put understanding on it was that, okay, we're not having sex. You know, this man is used to having sex. It's been over a year. And I just took it as a mistake. And I was like, we can just pick up and move on.
And it's funny that you say that, because you said that actually became the precedent.
It was.
So it's like, okay, anytime I want to step out, well, I'm going to find a way to break up with her.
It was. And that was literally the pattern. That went into our marriage. But of course, at that time, had I known, of course, I would have just stopped the whole thing. Like, I don't want, let me get off. I don't want to continue with this. I never imagined that would be the pattern. Why would I think my marriage would go that way? Yeah. We would be having sex in our marriage.
Right.
At that time, I'm not knowing, no, you're not going to be having sex in your marriage, and this is going to continue. So.
So when you realized that this was a serious situation, what were the steps that you tried to
she laughed.
mend this issue?
Lord, I don't think there's anything that I did not try. Like,
it's like the woman with the issue of
blood.
My
God, this went on and on. Like, there are so many things. Like, the first thing was finding out what it was.
Yeah.
You know, I think as a woman, and I'm very intuitive, most women are, you know what I mean? And then if you are very self-conscious and like you like to like reflect on things, I knew deep down that there was some sort of issue. Like I said, I always knew I had an issue with intimacy, period. But this, as far as the sex thing, the first step was finding out, what is this?
Right.
Like, what? There has to be a name for this. Like, I cannot be the only person.
It's literally impenetrable. No matter what you do, no matter what you try.
It's like hitting, I mean, the description I get is it's like hitting a brick wall. And from what I read and other women that I've spoke with that have the same condition, there are more of us, you know.
Look, my face stuck like.
It's just, there's nothing, you know what I mean? So the first step was me finding out, what is it, you know what I mean? And doing research to find out, like, there has to be a name. I cannot be the only person who has this issue, as crazy as it sounds, you know what I mean? If there's 1 out of a million, where's the other people?
Right, out of the million.
Yeah, so I started looking it up, and that's when I came across the term, like I said, vaginismus. I went to see a specialist.
How do you spell that?
It's Vaginismus. So I looked up a specialist, which our area, especially at that time,
didn't have
nothing.
Oh
my gosh.
I'm sure
that were like few
nothing.
And far in between, just period. You know what I mean? Like, not just locally, but just in general.
Right.
It was not something heard of. So I'm looking up specialists, and my first step, actually, as far as medical wise, was I went to a gynecologist. And I'll never forget, this doctor was not paying attention to me.
Yeah.
This was at the end of the conversation, because I just went to him to talk. And I was like, trying to explain to him what this was. And he was like, I've never heard of this. And this is somebody who specializes in women's anatomy. Right. So he's like, I've never heard of this, never. So I felt so on my own. Once I found an actual specialist who, you know, knew about it and heard about it, that's when all the what did you try start. You know, she first prescribed me muscle relaxers. She prescribed me numbing creams to use, and then pills to take. I mean, I've had doctors tell me, you just need to like really just lose it, you know. Take a pill, pop a pill, get drunk. Just whatever. And there are things that I did that's like not a part of my normal character. But when you get desperate, of course, like it's like, oh my God, I will do whatever. Like you are willing to pay whatever price to have that sense of completion in your marriage with the man that you love and your home. You want that. Yeah. You know, that's a part of it, and it's important. And it's not something that you know what I'm saying? I've had people. This is just taking a conversation 50 different ways, but it just floods me with so many different things that I've experienced with this. I've had people who've ask me, like, am I sure about my sexuality?
Like,
you know what I mean? And that's real. Like, and these were people coming from not people, one person that I actually loved and respected. Right. And it was an honest conversation. And she was just basically saying, you know, as introspective as you are, you like to look inside yourself, be real and think, is that maybe what the issue is? You know, am I? And I'm like, no. I know what I desire. I know what I want. I know what I fantasize about. I know what I like. It's a man. Right. It's a man. He's black. You know what I'm saying? Okay. It's my husband. You know what I'm saying? That at the time, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, this is what I want. You know what I mean? And even asexual, it was like, do you even have sexual desires? Like, I had to be open to, like, you know, question myself on a lot of things. Not the bisexual, no offense or anything, but I knew off top that wasn't something that was a part of my makeup. And neither was asexuality. You know what I'm saying? I'm a very sensual person. I'm a very passionate person. I am a sexual person. So this was like, that was the whole issue. Is it something that you do desire, but you can't have? Right. What? You know what I mean?
Do you think it's more mental than a physical issue, or vice versa?
Well, she just said that, and I just Googled it. And it really,
it's both.
It's both, but it really, like, it says it's involuntary.
It is. It's definitely. I mean, if you could control it, or it was a switch that you could turn off. But yeah, I think it's mental, it's emotional. You know what I'm saying? I think, it's physical, and that I've had a hard time even explaining that when I was married to my husband. As much reading and research and as much compassion as he had and understanding as he wanted to be, he wasn't, and he's very patient. This is a situation that we just were not prepared to deal with.
I don't know if anybody
we were not prepared to deal with this. And then, you know, even with trying to deal with it, we didn't have the tools to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? And then at that point, so much stuff had happened. It was attitudes. It was outside influences. It was a mess to clean up that we were not willing to put in the work to do, unfortunately, you know?
I have another question. And I'm not trying to be funny. So don't take it funny.
You good, cuz.
But you get wet?
Yes. And I get asked that all the time. Well, not like I discuss this all the time.
Right.
It's a real conversation. That's something that people will want to know. Like, everything up to the point of penetration is completely normal. Every single thing up to that point. So, you know, I get excited. I'm in the mood. Yeah, everything is normal up to the point of penetration. At that point is where it's like, oh, this is not about to happen. And that's what's so frustrating, because it's like, no matter what you try, you go through all those steps to get to that final point. You know, and imagine a man who's already been there, a woman who's, you know,
worked up.
What? Yeah. And me too. You know what I mean? And so it's just as frustrating for me, if not even more, and depressing. It comes with a range of emotions that are just like devastating. Like, who can deal with this? You know what I mean? It's not easy. It wasn't easy. Right. You know, it's easy to feel like I failed in my marriage, which literally, you know, if you take the technical definition, we're divorced now. So our marriage did not last. You know what I mean? But like I said, this situation was not, it wasn't something we were ready to deal with.
A lot of people can deal with, considering the specialty. I mean, we have a hard problem having psychiatrists.
Right.
So I don't think you have, what would a sexologist? Like somebody that just studies sex and, you know, the way it goes. Like, I don't know if that's anywhere around ever.
They have them, but there are people who focus on just one part of it. It's been not until recently, and I'm talking like in the last 2 years, that I found a place that focuses on every aspect, the mental, emotional, and physical therapy for your body. You know what I'm saying? Usually it's just one thing. Like I said, I will go to one doctor, they'll be like, well, take these pills. Another doctor, use this cream. Another doctor, I don't know, do yoga, stretch. You know what I'm saying? They don't know. It's just, it's like you basically just experimenting to figure out what exactly, you know what I'm saying? When you know in your heart, it's everything. You need somebody who's going to help you with every part of it so that you could get on point.
And so did you say somebody help you with every part of it? Because I know you're a believer, we're a believer, we believe and we trust in Jesus. So what has this done with your relationship with Jesus? Thank you for this question from the audience. So what has this done with your relationship with Jesus? Has it been closer? Has there been times that you've been mad? Like, what has it been like?
Lord. And it's crazy to talk about it right now because everything with the divorce is so new. It was just finalized in June, and we are still super close. You know what I mean? Like, we're still close.
Yeah.
So with that ending, it's brought a lot of anger, even because this was something that was expected. I knew years ago that we just weren't ready. We weren't at the point to give it up. We still love each other.
Yeah.
Even today, we still love each other. But it has made my relationship with him, like, it's made it stronger overall, but it's been through, like, ups and downs.
Roller coaster. Okay.
Yeah, because it's like, why?
Why me?
You know
like,
what I mean? And I hate to be that person because it's like, okay, you know, there are people dealing with all kinds of issues. Some that they hold in that you'll never know, you can never see, you won't hear about.
Yeah.
But I have wondered, you know what I mean? Like, oh my God, life is going to pass me by. Will I get to have the close, intimate relationship with a man that's my husband that I'm supposed to have? Children? Will I be able to get, you know what I'm saying? Like, so many things. It's not just one piece.
Right, because you got to have
everything. Yeah, we ain't on step one, you know?
Right.
So it's like, oh my God, years are steady going by. And, you know, it sometimes you think about that stuff and it's like, why? When I was trying to wait.
Yeah.
Wait,
you made me wait for this?
It's crazy.
And I feel you.
I'm
That's
not trying to
kind
go
of,
there.
I felt that same way too. Like with my cancer situation, and even now, as hard as I go, it's still a struggle because I still deal with daily fatigue. I still deal with anxiety. I still deal with the hormonal imbalance terribly. And don't get me wrong, I love the prayers and and I know that God has all powers, but there also are people that are like Paul had a thorn in his side,
right.
and some of us have been put on this earth to bear a certain cross. The same way I feel that way about homosexuality.
Yeah.
I feel that way about transgender. I feel that way about bums, crackheads, whatever your vice is. That's what God gave you to recognize that you need God.
Right.
And so I'm pretty sure, you might drink every once in a while, but you're not, like you said, stuff outside of your character. Would you say this is your biggest struggle?
Yes.
Yeah.
Nothing even comes close.
Yeah.
You know, because it's been a private struggle too. This is not something that I can, Like,
so
who can I talk to?
Weed or nothing to calm yourself down?
No. No.
Girl, you gangster.
Man.
Girl, you gangster. Because I would have had to do something to just alleviate the frustration, the pain on the inside, and just feeling like you're failing at literally life as a woman,
Right. That's what it takes away. And especially for a woman like me, like, I'm a very feminine
You really
woman.
are. That's what I was just saying. Like, you pretty. You got your flowers on right now. You got
that stomach flat. That stomach flat.
You're a pretty woman. So it's kind of crazy that you are very feminine. You're more feminine than me, you know?
Yeah. And I don't even mean, like, looks-wise. I mean,
just the way
nature.
You know
what I'm saying? And the way I feel. You know what I'm saying? I relate to, like, a lot of feminine things more. You know what I'm saying? Like... That sounds crazy because I'm a woman.
You're a woman, but
there are a lot of women who don't really relate to feminine. Yeah. And so it crushed my
heart. Gang.
Right. So it crushed me, like, it crushes me still. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course, this is the biggest struggle because it's like... Oh my God, it just goes so deep. Like, first of all, it's like, what's the answer?
Girl, look.
What's the answer? So just live and just don't do anything? Like,
I was just about to ask that. So, I know that there's options. I know you tried a bunch of them, right? What did you say?
I'm not. It's a private conversation between us.
So there is other options. Okay. What about a dildo? Have you tried that first?
Yes. Okay. So this is how deep it goes. Like, y'all wouldn't even understand. So I don't even know how much of this is time to share right now. So let me try to think of how to
do
put
what
this.
You gotta do.
So one of the parts of the physical therapy locally, one of the places that I said doesn't focus on anything else except the physical part of it. I went there. Yes. Yeah. We went through a process where it was like, okay, we're going to do this for 8 weeks, and week 1 we're going to start with a Q-tip. That's how serious it is.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's like a tampon.
Yeah, we're gonna use a mirror. We're gonna let you, see what's going on, and we're gonna do this. And by week 8, and when she showed me what was supposed to go down week 8, I was just like, that's definitely not gonna happen. But I'm gonna rock with you.
Right,
this is my life. I want, this, of course. So
you was committed from week 1 to 8.
I was committed from week 1 to 3, and
so how big?
And week
how
3,
big did you had to stick. What you had to stick in week 3?
Well, first of all, week 3 we were still working on thing 2, so it was a long process, and these were 90-minute sessions. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, it's deep. That's what I'm saying. But the whole thing of it is, you can't just walk into a cold medical room with a stranger and be like, okay, something I haven't done my whole life, let's get this cracking with you, because this is what it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? And some people's willpowers are set up different ways.
Yeah.
And this is me, and that's why I said it takes something wholesome, to hit every aspect of it, the emotional, the physical. And that's why I said the place that I found that I'm looking forward to attending one day, they focus on all those aspects. But that did not work for me. It took so long. That made me feel, I would leave every day feeling like more of a failure, because it's like, dang, I'm supposed to be at this level, and I'm still here. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting all the support from my husband. Man, it was hard. You know what I'm saying? So I knew after week 3, like, okay, this is not gonna go. It's not gonna go at all. Look, I just knew that it wasn't gonna help me, and it wasn't. You know what I'm saying? And then I was like, okay, well, we can do that at home, which we tried, but of course, it just wasn't what it was supposed to be. Yes. That's why I said that first session was just that, and that took forever. It took forever.
God, that's so crazy.
It is. I know it's hard to even imagine. It's hard for me to imagine, because I know how it's supposed to work.
Right, literally.
But
so have you ever put yourself in a position to have the willpower to be like, you know what, F everything, I'm doing this. Whatever it's going to take, we doing it tonight. Yes, many times. I've told my husband, and I don't know how it feels. I can put myself in his shoes as much as I can imagine. I'm not him. Right. And he's not me. I don't know how it felt for him fully, you know, and he'll never understand fully how it felt for me. Obviously. There's many times I told him, no matter what, just go, boy. I can't even tell y'all all the things that we've done, where it's like, but if I'm screaming bloody murder, like I'm a die, no man wants, that's not the setting for a marriage. And you don't want it to be that way. But it was to the point where I'm just like, I really don't care. I'm being 100% honest with you. You are my husband. I love you. This is me telling you, go, let's go. Like, let's go. We have to do this, but he couldn't. And that doesn't take away from him as a man. You know what I'm saying? Because no, if anything, it gives him respect as a man. Because there's some men out here raping their wife just because. Just because. What I'm about to say. And this would have been a different type of situation. Like, this really would have been, that would not have been cool. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying at the moment, that's what I wanted. Yeah, of course, that's what I wanted. You know what I'm saying? But I also had to respect the fact that he wasn't able to do that, and he shouldn't have to. Right? Because that's of course he shouldn't have to. That's mental strain on him, and he just that wasn't his setup. He wasn't comfortable with that. He wasn't cool with that, and honestly, if it had gone down like that, would I have been? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not a setting. Yeah. It's just not cool. But yeah, there were plenty of times I told him, just come on, just do it. Yeah, but no, that wasn't for us. So
now that you are divorced and you don't have to right now worry about the pressures of having sex, for the next gentleman, your next future husband, what are you working on, or what do you plan on working on, or do you? Because the way she plan on working on until you meet that next guy?
That's a great question. You've been asking yourself that? Man, all the time. That's a great question, because it's like, what order do you go in? Like, who do I meet? And then in what conversation does it come? Like, why would it come up? Maybe if you had somebody that don't want to have sex. I mean, it's just so crazy. There are so many different ways that could go. Like, I think of it now like, okay, this is a difference between when I first met my husband and I was waiting on marriage. That was fine. I didn't have the knowledge that I have now. Now I can't approach a man or let him approach me in that manner knowing what I know and say, well, I'm waiting for marriage. You're not necessarily waiting for marriage. You may be waiting to try again, but there's also the chance that when marriage comes, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a whole different conversation. So
and you would have to put somebody else through that.
Right. And of course, I wouldn't want to do that. Like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I know in my heart that I'm not going to be alone. I don't know how it's going to turn out, though. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I like that.
I do know. I have that feeling. You know what I'm saying? I know that I'm not going to be alone. I just don't know. And it hurts me to know that the person that I did love, you know, he gets to go on and have a normal life. That's not to take away. He should have that. You know what I'm saying? But he can go on and have children. Still gonna have you know what I'm saying? I'm still leaving with this struggle. Like, when the big question mark of, will that happen? You know what I'm saying? Will I ever get to have kids?
Girl, you about to make
hurtful.
Me cry.
I'm not trying to take it there. I wasn't trying to have this kind of conversation, but like I said, it's all a part of it. It's all a part of it. You know,
some people, this have not, even when you first told me about it, I didn't think nothing of it, because I'm sure I was one of them people that's like, girl, if you don't get drunk and do something, you know me. But just the seriousness, and when you think about it, people who have went through tragic situations, especially intimacy and sexually, they do have that natural reaction to just close off. Yeah. And I mean, I had that situation happen to me before, and you know, maybe it's when you've given up on a guy, you tried for so long, and now you're to the point where, you know what I'm saying. But I'm telling you, I just like the fact that you know within your heart.
Do. Yeah. I feel that, you know, and when I feel stuff like that, I know it's right, and I trust it. You know what I'm saying? But it's just all the questions of how. Like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? If I was to write a list of all the things that I want to do, having a relationship would be like, you know, if I made a list of 20 things, that wouldn't even make the list. That's how much my focus is on other things right now. And that's just a part of rebuilding your life and rebuilding yourself after a divorce or after that type of situation. You know what I'm saying? I have taken time to myself. You know, it's been a year that we've been, in November, it'll be a year that we've been separated. And it's just June since the divorce has been final. So I have taken some time, you know, to myself, but there's still so many things that I want to do. But at the same time, in the back of my head, just like you said earlier, it will be like a woman without children, me. You know what I'm saying? But with an additional step that is in the back of my head of, okay, so this time is going by. When, how, what, you know what I'm saying? But I can't.
Can you do insemination? But I guess if nothing can get in you, nothing can get in you.
And I would not want to carry a child having not experienced, you know what I'm saying? Like, what? Can my body be ready? Like, ain't it a step that I need?
Right, I was going to say, and then you ain't going to be able to have them naturally. So that's a guaranteed C-section.
Absolutely. But
so, for any woman out there that's experiencing the same issue that you have, is there any words you would like to give them? Is there any words of wisdom you'd like to give them? Or
she would need to hit me up one-on-one.
Okay.
That's number one. But I mean, there's just so many things. Like, I could take it as, you know, there are so many days I feel like I just failed. You know what I'm saying? Just because of now the knowledge I have, I'll be like, well, how come you didn't, you know, look harder to try to find this at that time and this, you know what I'm saying? Like,
it wasn't there.
It wasn't there. It wasn't available. You know what I'm saying? I did the best with what I had at the time I had it. You know what I'm saying? And this is the result. You know, there are other things that we could have done, but just taking that out of the equation, that's over. You know, now it's me. You know what I'm saying? I would just say, you know, put your trust in something that's unfailable. The only thing that is God. You know what I'm saying? If your faith with him is growing, you know what I'm saying, then that's where your faith should remain. Yeah. Because you know he won't fail you. Not to sound just stereotypical, but it's said because it's true. You know, he won't fail you. You know, I know that even in the midst of this situation. That's why I say it's not the end. I have no idea how this can turn out, but I know that it's going to be for my good. You know what I'm saying?
Have you ever thought about doing like a support group, like something online or just anything like that?
I'm actually like, there is a group on Facebook, and that's how I found other women who do have this issue. And there are married people with this issue too. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not something that's
just single women.
What's the page called?
Well, it's a private group where we had to message the doctor. There's actually a center in New York. That's the place that I've been talking about that I want to visit one day, that they focus on all the parts, you know, the physical therapy, the emotional therapy, like, and it's a 2-week program that is very expensive. But when the time is right, you know, I do plan on going.
Do that
absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, cause I just from reading and doing the research, I feel like that's the best, you know, program for this type of situation.
Yeah.
Is there a way that a woman could contact you to get that information?
Yeah. I mean, and even that, like, I could give that information. Like, it's available online. I think it's in Plainsville, New York, and it's called the Women's Center. And I believe it's a 2-week program. And I'm thinking the cost, I don't want to give that information. You would have to look it up because it could have changed from the last time I was doing any sort of research or looking it up. But that was about 5-6 months ago. So, yeah, it's called the Women's Center in New York. And from all the stuff I've read and reviews of people who've gone, their success rate is like 96%.
Wow.
You know, if you stay in the program. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Shut your mouth.
Yeah. So, I mean, even reading that and reading those women's stories gives me a lot of hope, you know, about the possibilities for the future. But now it's kind of a timing thing. Like, when would I do something like that, with or without a partner, or, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Do you want to do it now?
Once you open up that door, you want to know that you are healed. And the only way to know that is
to try it. But then it's like, at the same time, what if you try, you get healed and ain't nobody around for a long time,
right?
And then you go all
kinds of situations. That's why I'm saying, like, on the long list of things, that's not at the top. So it's just something that I'm just have to trust God and know that, you know, when the time comes, everything will, you know, be in order. I have the information and education now to deal with certain things. So
that's awesome.
We'll see.
That's amazing. Well, Ebony, thank you very much for your story. Will we be able to reach you again to get an update?
Because, you know, you got my number and so does India. So why y'all?
We're actually known on our podcast,
of course,
as DJ Missy E.
My bad, DJ Missy E.
But it's okay.
Y'all family.
Because she's my cousin. You know what I'm saying?
Y'all family. Yeah. But yes, it was fun. I would love to come back, hopefully with a great update one day.
I know. I can't wait. I'm gonna be on the sidelines twerking for you, girl.
Yeah,
man, you gonna be twerking?
Yeah. I kind of want to have a little cheerleader outfit on for you, girl. Funny story though. Speaking of twerking,
okay,
I just learned how to twerk this year. Boom.
Did you?
We confessing stuff, right?
But
Boom.
did you? Because did you really
actually,
right?
I actually did learn.
Her twerking is not up to par.
I have not tried it on anybody, but I have tested it in the mirror.
I'm gonna need you to take that next step. Right.
So, you know, once I feel confident that I can expose that side,
wow,
my husband will get it.
It's like that.
It's like that.
That part.
Y'all are silly.
Well, I'm excited. This will be a new format for us, especially with us coming from Friday Night Hype, but just addressing topics in a world that you never would have thought from, especially from my perspective, because I had to slow myself down. Like, girl, you out here going too hard for this, for something, you know, stuff that don't. So it's like, can we switch? You know, Lord? But I don't, not forever, just till my husband come, right? You know, that part, because he's fine.
He will be fine.
I know who he is.
I like this. And that's the Night Hype Show.
Straight like that. Peace out, y'all.
Holla.